Good morning, everyone. My name is Gavin Morrissey, and I'm going to talk to you about the history of the Milwaukee Brewers. So we're going to move on to the introduction today. The Milwaukee Brewers are a huge part of Wisconsin's sports teams, and they came to Milwaukee in 1969. Baseball itself here in Milwaukee, it always has been America's pastime. Miller Park is a beautiful stadium that we love here in Milwaukee. But let's talk about why I care so much about it. I've been playing baseball since I was 5 years old, and I've been keeping track of this team ever since then. I've watched so many games, been to so many games, met so many players. It's been an awesome experience that I'm excited to share with you guys. 3 key ideas I want to talk about today are going to be the history of the team, the importance of being in a small market and how that affects the team, as well as why great management can bring home a title. So let's move on to the first topic today, the history of the team. Now, the Brewers, like I said, came to Milwaukee in 1969. They first made it to the playoffs in 1982. And if you're looking at the screen here, this Robin Yount guy, he's been a huge factor in our team's success. He's a Hall of Famer, and he's one of the only ones that Milwaukee has. And his performance has been spectacular on the team. Now, in 1982, it was the only time the Brewers ever made it to the World Series. And like I said, he's been a big factor of that. So moving on to the 2000s era, we made it to the playoffs twice. So this is, in 2008, we made it to the Wild Card Series against Philadelphia. And in 2011, we made it to the NLCS. Now, there's 4 notable players I want to talk about. Ryan Braun and Prince Fielder, big dynamic duo. Those guys are honestly seem like brothers to each other. It's such a good relationship, as well as Corey Hart and Giovanni Gallardo. This whole team, they were really spectacular and a big part of Milwaukee's success. So, moving on to today's era, I want to basically mention this Christian Yelich guy, for those of you who might not know. He's the 2018 NL MVP, but he's kind of the main focus I want to talk about for today's presentation and how his acquisition really changed the team's focus. So I want to move on to the next topic today. That is going to be small market baseball. What is a small market? It's usually a team that really doesn't do well in attendance, ratings, and even overall population in the city. If you want a quick comparison, Milwaukee has 500,000 in their population. Big city like Chicago has 3 million. Of course, they have 2 baseball teams, but obviously, they've just got a lot more money, they've got a lot more people, which kind of generates, that kind of ongoing cycle. And in the MLB specifically, there is no salary cap, where you might see that in the NBA. Salary cap means baseball teams can spend as much as they want on big players. So if you want to compare Christian Yelich, like I said, is the big part of this presentation. We just signed him in 2020 for $215 million for 9 years. Compare that to Garrett Cole, who the New York Yankees signed in the same year. He's getting over $100 million more for the same amount of time. So obviously, these teams can just battle it out on these contracts, but in being in a small market, it's really hard to compete. That's kind of what I want to talk about in that era. So now we're going to talk about the third topic today, which is going to be management. Now, if you have never seen this movie before, this is Moneyball. Brad Pitt's in it, Jonah Hill's in it, but it's a fantastic baseball movie. Fantastic. It's actually currently on Netflix. But the whole thing about it is that how small market teams are able to beat these bigger teams using computer analysis and algorithms. The outcome, no spoiler alert, but outcome of the movie is they ended up winning 20 games in a row. So it's a big thing for small market teams. Moving on to Brewers management. This is kind of where I'm going to connect Moneyball, the movie, to the Brewers itself. Now, you can see this man here. This is David Stearns. He is the current general manager, same position that Brad Pitt was in Moneyball. But this man who went to Harvard was a big factor in that Christian Yelich trade. Everybody thought that, we gave up too much for him, for Christian Yelich. People thought that, we gave away too many prospects, which is our future of the team. But obviously, he proved everybody wrong, right? He was the one that formulated that deal, and he's also been signing other players to assist him on the team. Now, Craig Counsell on the left here, he's known as the King of September. And the reason he's called that is because for the past 3 years, the Brewers have had the best record in baseball in September. And I just want to point out the fact that these two members of the upper management of the team are the reason as to why the Brewers are so successful. So, all in all, this baseball team has set so many different records. They've evolved so many different MVP caliber players over the time that they've been in Milwaukee, and it's really special to me. If you want to take it as a life lesson today, don't always pick on the guy who's below you, because he might just be the underdog, and just always be passionate and have perseverance, and maybe one day we can all win a World Series. Thank you guys for listening.